I think we are live.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good day. My name is Clara Lyons-DeVaughn. I am the broker owner of Lyonsview Realty. We are a full service real estate company and we provide residential, commercial for small businesses and nonprofits, and we provide property management services. Excited to announce coming soon is Lyonsview Academy. Yay! Our education component. And I want to welcome you to Lyonsview Realty Financial Fridays. We're committed to ensuring that you have the resources, the information, and tips that assist you in making the best financial decisions. Our commitment is to maximize your wealth building power now and in the future. So, Financial Fridays is really here to help you stay current on the trends that impact your bottom line. So glad you tuned in today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel free to like and share this video. If you have any questions, you can type them into the comment section. And whether you're watching us live or you're watching the replay, we will get back to you. So our guests are here as a resource to you. So please feel free to ask any questions that you might have. Today, our guest is Mrs. Delores Corbett with Secure Benefits Group. Welcome, 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 Delores.
Thank you so much for having me, Clara. Thank you.
Yes. So I met Delores, we were just talking about that, 2013.
13.
Yeah, through La Ada, which is an entrepreneur business development platform.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I had something on my screen. Is an entrepreneur platform, and they assist entrepreneurs like Delores and myself to develop business plans for their businesses and move forward to either starting a business or moving their business to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, our friendship started, and then
Yes.
we reconnected several times over the years. But our latest collaboration has been with the 100 Black Women, the
Yes.
National Coalition of 100 Black Women, and the National Association of Real Estate Brokers,
Southern
South
New
Jersey.
Jersey chapter.
Yes, for both.
For both.
Yes. And we were doing our home buyer workshop. So the Black Women's Coalition was really committed about economic development, credit repair.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we were doing couponing and how couponing helps you save money, put finances in your pocket, and also um, this year, even though we are going to be doing the expo in a different way, we're also collaborating to provide economic development and wealth building things to people in the community around home ownership. So just welcome, Delores. I really
Thank you
appreciate
so much. I appreciate it being here.
who
Great
you are
opportunity.
and everything that you do. So tell us a little bit about yourself and about your company.
Sure. Thank you so much for that introduction, Clara. And as Clara said, we've been knowing each other for a number of years since 2013. It's 7 years later, 2020. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
And again, we met at Lyada, where I had the opportunity to put together my business plan and launch my business, Secure Benefits Group. And at Secure Benefits Group, we help people at every stage of their life with their health insurance, life insurance, disability, and annuity needs. And through collaborations, we help with retirement as well. We also assist businesses maximize their benefits for employees, small and large. It doesn't matter how small the company is or how large the company is, we can maximize the benefits through their health benefits, life insurance, and other ancillary benefits. On a personal level, Clara mentioned that I am a community advocate with the
Yes.
National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Southern New Jersey chapter. Have been with them for 5 years, and I serve on the Economic Empowerment Committee, where we have the pleasure of bringing powerful programming to the community that helps us in the area of wealth building. So that's, again, like Clara said, that's have reconnected over the years through those collaborations. And on a personal level, I am the proud wife of Mr. Al Corbett for about 25 years now. And to our union, we have two children, Rebecca, age 16, and Alvin, 17.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, that is a pretty impressive resume, and you're a pretty impressive woman. I really appreciate your passion, not only for economic development, but for community involvement and keeping the
Mhm.
culture and legacies alive. So I just really appreciate you and respect all the things that you've got going on and that you're doing. So thank you for being here today. I'm a little curious about how you got started in insurance.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Um, I got started. It's really interesting. As a child, I grew up in the church, and
Mhm.
there was a wonderful woman and family that I was in love with. I didn't grow up with the father, single parent household. My mom took care of all five of us,
Mhm.
and there was a family in the church that was my idea of an ideal family because it was a mother,
Mhm.
father, and they had six kids. The mom was a
Oh.
stay-at-home mom, but they were so welcoming and they were great mentors to me. And the father was a business owner. He worked,
Mhm.
he had a lawn company, and he fell ill. And the dynamics of that family changed dramatically when he got ill. So
Mhm.
that's when as a child, I learned about disability insurance and life insurance. So that's my first introduction. And then, unfortunately, as I grew older and worked in the field of human resources, my mother transitioned in 2010. And when my mother transitioned, I found out that I didn't know a lot, as much as I thought I did, about life insurance. She was inadequately insured. She was the victim of a predatory agent who sold her a worthless burial insurance policy. So when my mother
Wow.
transitioned, it left us, first of all, emotionally devastated. And
Mhm.
from a financial standpoint, the burdens fell on us because she had a lot of requests that we felt obligated to fulfill in her death, because she was a wonderful mother, and you want to fulfill those things for your
Mhm.
family if they have
Mhm.
specific requests, and we definitely wanted to do that. So the fight that wasn't necessarily the financial burden of fulfilling her request. The financial burden came from the fact that I was emotionally devastated and couldn't work for
Mhm.
several months. And
Mhm.
so when that doesn't happen, PSENG still goes on, the bills keep coming and things of that nature. So I found that I didn't understand life insurance, that it could be so much more than just burial insurance. It could be living benefits. It could be a way of building an estate or leaving a legacy or leaving uh, a um, a significant inheritance for the people that you leave behind. So it's powerful in a lot of ways to leave a legacy and love someone in your transition. That loving and that care that you had while you were alive really carries with you when you transition. So that's really how I got into life insurance at the transition of my mother in 2010, when I was just outraged at how she was treated, and then learned that there was a lot of people in the community, poor communities, Black communities, who were duped into buying these
Mhm.
worthless policies. Not only
Mhm.
are they policies that are just burial insurance plans, they are, some people actually have accident insurance and they think that they have life insurance. So again, out of that experience was a lot of pain, but it also was a blessing so that I could share my experiences and educate the community. I have a friend who always says, let my lessons be your blessings. And so that's
Mhm.
how that's my creed as I practice my business of life insurance, or insurance in general,
Yeah.
with the community.
That's really beautiful, and a lot of times, what we do and who we are comes as a result, but definitely comes as a result of our experiences, our life experiences.
Hmm.
And I remember in my 20s, people were trying to get me into, various life insurance products, and I was like, I'm 20 years old. I don't need insurance. I don't have nothing to insure, so I think there's a lot of misconceptions around what insurance is. So can you talk a little bit about, what actually is insurance and why is it for in people to have insurance, specifically life insurance? You pointed to a few of them, the legacy, you
Right,
know, thing,
right.
but I think overall people don't really understand what it is and what it's for.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, most of all, people, or first of all, people think of life insurance in terms of, or insurance in terms of car insurance, because they can always relate to car insurance. So when you think of life insurance or any insurance, it's a way of mitigating risk. It's a risk management tool or sharing the financial burden with the company where it lessens it on yourself or your family. So in
Mhm.
the case of car insurance, because that's the best illustration that we can use. Car insurance, you have an accident and your car gets totaled, that car is worth $20,000, $30,000. That risk
Mhm.
is transferred or shared with the insurance company by you paying a small premium every month.
Mhm.
With life insurance, first of all, life insurance can be used while you're alive. That's the first
Wow.
misnomer. So there's living benefits. So in the case of life insurance, depending on the type that you have, so if you become disabled, you have a critical
Mhm.
illness or a terminal illness, or ultimately, if you transition, your
Mhm.
income replacement, your final expenses could be transferred to the insurance company and go way beyond the small premium that you pay
Mhm.
every month. So it's a way of transferring the risk and making your income or your buying power with a small premium go much further to
Mhm.
reduce
Yeah.
the financial burden that you experience when any of those things occur.
Mhm. Indeed, indeed. So, you talked about legacy, you talked about it generating possible income for you, you talked
Mhm.
about, it giving you an opportunity to start over. You said something about, being off, after the transition of your mom and how it's like, what kind of insurance covers someone when they're after the I guess, after the life insurance, like, how does that work? Yeah.
Okay. So when a person transitions, they identify, well, before they transition, when you have a life
Mhm.
insurance policy, you identify beneficiaries. And the
Okay.
beneficiaries are the recipients of the proceeds
Mhm.
of the life insurance policy. For example,
Mhm.
if your loved one transitions and they have a policy that's worth
Mhm.
$100,000, that
Mhm.
those proceeds go to the beneficiary, typically tax free.
Mhm.
So that gives the person an
Yeah.
opportunity to breathe, to
Mhm.
grieve you in dignity. They
Mhm.
don't have to be worried about going back to work right away. They don't have to be
Mhm.
worried about the bills because there's income there or there's some money there that's tax free that they can
Mhm.
utilize to really just pretty much grieve and readjust, reassess their lives. And that's dignity. That's really
Mhm.
grieving someone in dignity. It's unfortunate when people have to go right back to work, right back into the
Mhm.
frying pan, busy their lives up, and they don't have an opportunity to really adequately appreciate, take the time, grieve, and heal from a transition.
Indeed, indeed.
Mhm.
So are there different types of life insurance? How does it what is that about?
Yes, absolutely. There are
Mhm.
basically three types of life insurance. And again,
Okay.
I said that they could be used while you're living as well as
Mhm.
during transition. And the three types depend on your specific needs. There's term
Mhm.
insurance, and just like it sounds, term insurance is for a specific amount of time, and it can be used for a number of reasons. Usually, younger people get it when they have a small family and they want a large coverage, a large amount of coverage, so that if something should happen to them while they're in their child rearing age, the children are young, that their future can be assured. For example, one of my, the most troublesome in terms of emotional cases that I had,
Mhm.
but it's also one of the most powerful. I had a 40 something year old client. He had purchased his policy 2 months prior to his death.
Wow.
and 2 months prior to his death. And I had known him for a year, and I kept talking to him about, you have such beautiful children. You want to make
Mhm.
sure that they're taken care of just in case you get injured, just in
Mhm.
case anything happens. And it's not that you're wishing these things on people, but here's the thing, we are all going to transition. It's a
Yes, we are.
100% chance that we are all going to
It's
transition.
not a chance. It's definitely going to happen.
It's going to, and thank you for correcting me. It's going to happen.
It's going to
So
happen for whatever reason,
for whatever reason, at whatever
Yeah.
time, it's going to
Right.
happen. So
Time.
we want to make sure, from a
Mhm.
financial standpoint, that our family can continue in the way that they enjoyed life. So I had the opportunity to meet with him and his lovely wife. They had 3 children, they had 5 altogether, but 3 children under the age of 9. And she was a stay-at-home
Wow.
mother. So
Wow.
2 months after writing this insurance plan, this gentleman transitioned. And it was very painful, but I was so gratified in the fact that this family could go on. They didn't have to move out of the house. The wife didn't have to go out and try to find a job immediately. She could grieve in dignity. She had assured, or he had assured, his children's future. They could go to college
Mhm.
because they were adequately insured. So insurance gives you an opportunity to, again, fund your lifestyle, fund a lifestyle beyond the grave. And when you're living, this is important also, the living benefits. Some policies have disability components or critical illness components, where if
Mhm.
you become ill
Mhm.
and you are the insured, you have the opportunity to draw some of those benefits or some of the face value of that policy and help it for during your living.
Okay.
There's also, you mentioned, uh, there's also the long-term care or component of it. It's not a long-term care policy, but if there are any activities of daily living that a person loses while they have some of these policies, they can access them to draw down on that money and use it. If they become terminally ill, if you're given
Mhm.
6 months to live and you want to do something, travel, in this case, these days we're not traveling, but travel to put things in order your way, you can draw down on
Mhm.
some of that money and use it to
Mhm.
set up things for yourself, to set up things for your family. The
Mhm.
final the third type of policy is universal policies. Now, these are really, really powerful instruments because that's a way of funding your future while you're alive. It covers
Okay.
your life, and you can
Mhm.
also draw down or take disbursements when it becomes funded to a certain level, and you
Hmm.
can
Okay.
be your own lender for
Hmm.
businesses or to send folks to college, a number of things that you can do.
That's pretty good. So there's the term, which is kind of short term, meaning you pay into it for a short period of time, or
a, a short period of time, either 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And speaking of term, a lot of people
Mhm.
use that for mortgage protection. You have a
Mhm.
30-year term term mortgage, and
Mhm.
you know that you don't want your family disturbed should something happen. You want them to remain in
Mhm.
that family. So during that time period of that 30-year term mortgage, you have a term policy that covers you for 30 years at a certain amount to cover the value of the house, and or a little bit more. And should something happen, um, that's a good policy to have in place. So there's term, there's universal, and there's permanent insurance.
And the permanent was the one that does what exactly? I missed. Yeah.
Well, the permanent insurance is typically for people who want the insurance to last their entire lifetime, not
Mhm.
specifically for a specific term.
Okay. So they just pay whatever amount consistently until transition happens, and
Until
then
transition,
there's
or
a
until a designated time that they may have a 20-year permanent policy where they pay a little bit more into it, but it's only for 20 years so that they can enjoy their retirement years with
without payment.
without payment.
Okay. And is that for a set dollar amount? So is it like 100,000 or $300,000 policy, or
It
does it increase in value over time?
Some can increase in value over time, and some can be
Mm.
for a fixed value.
Okay. And is that the same with the universal? It can increase in value over time, or is it for a set dollar amount of
Well,
pay?
the universal, usually, if you're working it the proper way, it increases in value over time because that's a policy that you fund. So you want to fund that so it can increase value and you can access those funds at different points in your life as you desire.
Right. Now, does a person need all three types, or, is there a formula of how to put them together to do different things?
There is a formula, but here's what needs to occur. You need to
Mhm.
do an assessment. You need to sit with someone like myself to do an assessment of where you are, what your
Mm.
personal goals are, what your financial need, your future needs, and identify what's best for you because it's not one size fits all.
Mhm.
And so at
Indeed.
different
Mm.
stages in life, we are at different stages in life. So we may need term at one point, and at the next point, we may need permanent, and then we may want to use universal when we're doing some other things in life that we want to fund. So it
Mhm.
just depends on where the person is and what their financial goals are, and what their personal goals are.
So how often do you think someone should kind of review their insurance? Yeah.
I think, first of all, whenever
Mhm.
there is a major occurrence in life, marriage, birth of a child, death of someone, um, new job,
Mhm.
reduction
Mhm.
in job, purchasing a home. Those are opportunities to reassess. So that could happen within 1 year. All those things can happen within 1 year. But on average,
Mhm.
you should assess every year to make sure that you are still where you want to be in terms of your life insurance and what your family is going to receive after you transition or any desires you want to fulfill while you're here.
Mhm. So you said purchase a home. So why should a home buyer or a homeowner purchase life insurance, and
Oh,
what's
that's really important. I mean, the home is an investment. You're
Yes, it
purchasing
is.
you're purchasing a home. And when you purchase a home, it means so much more than just a place to live. It is an investment, it is an inheritance for someone, it is a legacy hopefully for generations.
Mhm.
So we want to make sure we protect that. We don't want to lose that. We don't want the burden to fall on someone, the next person, the wife, the children, where they cannot manage that and keep that home in the family from one generation to the next. So it's a way of building generational wealth with the home. And what life insurance does is protect you because if you are not there to provide that income, the life insurance plan can pay off the mortgage or help
Mhm.
the family pay the mortgage on a monthly basis and assist with all of the utilities and taxes and things of that nature if it's funded properly.
Indeed, indeed. And I actually, I won't say learned that the hard way, but shortly after my husband and I purchased our first home together as husband and wife, I got some paperwork to that effect, that there was a specific insurance that would pay off the mortgage in the event that something happened. And, we're younger, I'm not thinking about that,
Mhm.
saw it, said, "Oh, that's interesting." Put it to the side, said, "Okay, we have life insurance policies, that should be enough."
Mhm.
But, when my husband, passed unexpectedly, I wasn't expecting him to, transition in his 50s,
Yeah.
and we had a huge mortgage.
Mhm.
So the life insurance wasn't sufficient to, cover the property. So I, would really encourage people who are purchasing to have a separate policy
Yes.
specifically just for the property, because that's a major overhead.
Yes.
Life insurance help, pay the bills, moving forward for a period of time. But the house is one of those expenses, if you have that type of policy, you could pay it off in one swoop, and
Mhm.
you're assured that you have a roof over your head moving forward. So I appreciate you sharing that information, because I don't think people think about that specifically, um, in quality of life moving forward, of course,
Right.
but don't think
Right.
about that specifically.
It's the
Um,
largest expense.
it
Large
is. It
expense.
it really is, and it
Mhm.
helps when you don't have that expense.
And when you're
Um,
considering the life insurance, you also want to consider the taxes as well.
Mm,
and the utilities and things of that nature. So always a little bit more than that mortgage amount
yeah.
if you can do it.
So you said something interesting. You said people don't have to pay taxes on the funds the benefit that they get from an insurance policy. Is
Mhm.
it just life insurance or is it all insurance policies?
Life insurance in particular is a
Mhm.
tax-free benefit.
Okay.
Typically, I have to say typically because there's individuals that may have arrears and things of that nature where there could be a tax burden, but it is funded that way. That's the way the IRS structured it. It is a tax-free benefit, and a lot of communities use it to establish major estates and an
Mm,
inheritance. So we need to start taking advantage of it early, and understanding how it can move a community and a family forward. Very important.
Is it difficult to qualify for life insurance? Like, you know, I noticed
It
that the fees are different depending on how old you are when you get into different things.
life
Mm,
insurance is a lot more affordable, and when you're younger and when you're healthy, you
mhm,
anyone pretty much can get it at any stage, except for when they're in their 90s or
mhm,
so.
mhm,
So life insurance is for everyone. It is again affordable when you're young and healthy, and the rates change as you get older. So that's why it's very important to get it as soon as you can. But I don't want to discourage people that even if you're not as healthy as you'd like to be, you're too short for your height. Oh, you're too short for your weight, I should say. Too short for your weight, like I am. And you still can get it. You still can qualify for life insurance. There's all sorts of policies and instruments out there that can help you.
Okay. So besides life insurance, you mentioned a couple, but what other types of insurances are there?
Oh, well, personal lines insurance is life insurance, long-term care insurance, health insurance,
Mm,
disability insurance, which is really important because most people during their work life become disabled, and you want something that's going to replace that income. Lots of time, it's not a workers' compensation issue.
mm,
It's not necessarily a that the state will be able to replace that income adequately,
mm,
and some independent contractors don't have those benefits. So you need to make sure
mm,
you have disability insurance. I do a Medicare health insurance benefits, long-term care insurance, life insurance. I do annuities, retirement benefits through partnerships, and of course the I think I mentioned all of them: disability, life, long-term care, the annuities, and health insurance, Medicare benefits as well.
can you explain for our audience annuities? Because some people don't know what that means.
Oh,
Mhm.
fantastic. Annuities
Okay.
are it's a pool of money. It's an
Okay.
opportunity for you to take sometimes a lump sum of money or small amounts of money and share it with typically an insurance company. And if it's a pool of money, you have the opportunity to take disbursements on that money over a period of time. It can be for a specific period of time, or it can be for a lifetime. There is interest that accrues with it. There is I don't want to get too technical, but there's interest that can accrue with it, so that can make that policy pay out over a lifetime. And a lot of people use that as a strategy in retirement.
Mhm. Gotcha. And the size for small businesses who want to get, I guess, policies for their employees, what size businesses? Can it be a
Oh,
one-person, two-person business,
I
or what is there a minimum?
two people for health insurance and for life insurance as well. Two people. That's
Okay.
all it requires for businesses.
Okay. So a
Two
two-person business
two-person
can pro
business,
can
two
provide
employees
insurance for their employees,
for their
correct?
employees. It could be an owner who is not on the
Mhm.
W two, and one person who is on the W two. So it doesn't the owner doesn't necessarily have to be on the payroll.
Okay.
Mhm.
And one other question. So for people who we're in a season where a lot of people are losing their jobs, and
Mm.
they may have had certain types of plans with their companies, are you seeing, how is what's going on kind of impacting how are people using their insurance? Or are they having, issues with
Well,
their insurance companies at this point?
here's the thing. This is really important. Ownership is always important, whether it's a
Mhm,
home or whether it's life insurance.
mhm,
Ownership. When you have life insurance at a company, it's
mhm,
usually for a limited period of time. It's usually during the time that you're at the company. You always want to own your own life insurance independent of a
mhm.
company, because you could leave, the company could go
Absolutely.
out of business, and you want to make sure that you can utilize that wherever you go, wherever you decide to hang your hat.
Mhm,
So during this season, I would assume that a lot of companies are going under. And what happens with that is people are losing their life insurance benefits. If you owned it yourself and controlled it yourself, that's not something that would occur, because you would be
mm.
paying for it out of your own pocket, and it won't end at any time that the company ends. So you always want to make sure that you are independent and have ownership
Of your policy. That's
of
a
this.
really good point. I don't think a
Mhm.
lot of people think about it because, you think your company, one, is gonna be there forever.
Right,
And no one, saw this season coming.
right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and so and a lot of people are at jobs. Some people have been on their job for 20 and 30 years, and they're really surprised when they get ready to leave, and they think the life insurance is portable, and sometimes it is portable, but it's
Mhm,
portable at a really high cost, because before you
mhm,
were in a group, and then they transition you to an individual and the cost increases, or it does not last more than a year after you retire, a year or two. So
mhm. Right.
ownership, again, ownership in everything is
Yeah.
very important.
That I'm glad you put it in the perspective of ownership, because that's the other thing I remember when my husband passed and I being self-employed, I was on his health insurance policy and
Hmm.
I had to do Cobra. Oh
Hmm.
my God, that was
Yeah.
so expensive
Hmm.
to carry the Cobra for a period of time after his death. And
Hmm.
so the ownership separately from what your company offers, I think is a very valid point, because I didn't actually see it that way. I thought, "Oh, I'm covered,"
Hmm.
and that was sufficient. So can you kinda summarize, why insurance is important, an important part of a person's overall financial planning?
Um, I would say it's very important because you minimize the burden of the
Mhm,
financial impact it has, a transition or an illness has on a family. And you want to transfer that risk to a company, and you want them to share that burden. You also want to leave a legacy when you transition. It's a 100%,
mhm,
not chance, it's going to happen, certain that we
mhm,
are going to transition. So we want to make sure that we leave a legacy, and we want to build generational wealth. And one of the easiest and the
mhm,
quickest ways to do it is through life insurance, so that one generation can build upon it to the next. And we want to make sure that everyone in the family is adequately insured, because if one person's insured and the other folks are not, resources go toward a GoFundMe or some sort of donation, and people are
mhm,
not grieving in
mhm,
dignity. So that's very important. It's also very important to understand that life insurance is for everyone. We want to make sure we get it as young as possible, and make sure that we fund it properly, review it on an annual basis, understand the various types of insurance, make sure that you're
mhm,
educated, and just make sure that, I want folks to look at their policies today and make sure it's not an accident insurance policy, because that's
mm,
happened. A lot of people have accident insurance policies, which means that it doesn't pay off unless your transition occurs, unless it's by accident. So if it's by natural causes, it doesn't occur. So I want
mm.
people to just understand the power of it, and understand that it's just essential for all of us to have.
Right. So people need to, really great information. They need to have insurance. They need to review their insurance benefits on a frequent basis whenever they
Hmm.
have a life change situation. They need to make sure they know what's in their insurance policy, that it's not just Like you said, if they have an accident, they get it. If they die of natural causes, they don't. So they need to understand what's in the policy. They need to understand that there are different types of policies,
Mhm.
some that give you a short-term benefit, some that give you a long-term benefit, and some that increase in value over time.
Mhm.
So it buys time, it gives people a fresh start, it can generate
Yeah,
income, it can offer them flexibility in their lifestyle, it can create opportunities for them in the
absolutely,
future,
absolutely.
it could fund their future, and it leaves a legacy. All excellent, excellent information,
One more
Delores.
thing, Clara, one more thing.
Mhm.
It's really important to update your beneficiaries. We fall in and out of
Oh my
love.
God, yes.
Our
Oh my God,
children grow
yes.
older. We may want to add our grandchildren. This is so very important. There's a lot of people who find out that an ex-wife is getting a lot of benefits when they transition, or our families by surprise. So update your beneficiaries. Make sure that they are updated with the insurance company on an annual basis.
Yes, yes, very important.
Very, very important.
Really important. I was thinking, so funny, I was thinking about that today because my husband is still, on some things. So yes, updating it is
Mhm,
very, very important.
mhm.
Can you share with our audience your contact information, your great resource, how they can get in contact with you?
Sure. Secure Benefits Group, and my 800 number is 800-551-1595. That's 800-551-1595.
Awesome. Oh, it's there on the screen. Awesome, awesome. And thank you, thank you. Was there something else you wanted to
No,
share?
that's
Oh,
it. Thank you.
okay, you have been a wealth of information, which is what this is all about. Please reach out to Mrs. Corbett. She's definitely a great resource. And for those of you who are watching live, or if you're watching the replay, if you found this information useful, please like and share this video with other people. I want to thank you again for tuning in to Lyonsview Realty Financial Fridays. And if you are looking to sell, buy, invest, rent, or pursue a career in real estate, you can drop a comment in on Facebook for an appointment, or you can email me at info@lionsviewrealty.com or call me at 856-209-0905. The Lionsview team is here to provide you with the resources, information, and tips to help you make the best financial decisions now and in the future to really have your best life. I'm sending love, light, and prayers to everyone who is affected during this season, our essential workers, our healthcare professionals, our police, our fire protectors, our food servicers, and especially our leadership, everybody who's working, practicing physical distancing and maintaining a positive social relationship as we move
Mhm,
through this season.
mhm.
I am Clara Lyons-DeVaughn. Join us again live on Friday at 9:30. Until then, keep living your best life. Thank you again, Delores.
Thank you, Clara.